Hey Taurus, I need to talk to you about something that's been showing up really strongly in your energy right now. So I sat down with my cards today, specifically thinking about you and what's happening in your world, and what came through was honestly pretty wild. There's this situation with someone, and I'm talking about a woman here, who has been carrying some seriously heavy energy toward you. Like, we're not just talking about casual dislike or a little bit of shade, we're talking about genuine hatred mixed with envy, so thick you could cut it with a knife. And here's what's interesting about this reading. The cards are showing me that while this person has been busy throwing all this negative energy your way, busy trying to dim your light, busy hoping you'd somehow fail or fall or just disappear from their line of sight, something else entirely has been building in your life. Something powerful, something they absolutely cannot touch, cannot interfere with, cannot stop, no matter how hard they try. And that's what we're going to explore today, because the universe has some really specific messages for you about this situation. The first card that came up is the Sun. And Taurus, when I flipped this card over, I actually had to pause for a second because the message here is so clear. The Sun is one of those cards that doesn't really do subtlety. It's about success, achievement, recognition, joy, vitality, everything coming together in this really beautiful and undeniable way. And what the cards are telling me here is that you are entering or already in this phase where your light is getting brighter. Not in some vague spiritual way, but in a really tangible, visible, other people can see it kind of way. Think about what the sun represents for a moment. It's literally the biggest, brightest thing in our sky. It doesn't apologize for shining. It doesn't dim itself because other stars exist. It just is, and everything else revolves around it. That's the energy that's building in your life right now. And this is exactly why this woman who hates you is absolutely losing her mind. Because here's what happens with people who carry envy like she does. They've often built their entire sense of self-worth on comparison. They look at others to determine whether they're winning or losing in life. And you, Taurus, you've become the benchmark she's been measuring herself against, probably without you even knowing it. The Sun card is showing me that whatever is coming into your life, whatever blessings or opportunities or success is heading your direction, it's not something quiet or hidden. This is going to be visible. Other people are going to notice. Maybe it's a promotion at work, or recognition in your field, or a relationship that just radiates happiness, or financial abundance that changes your circumstances, or even just you stepping into a new level of confidence and self-assurance that makes you magnetic. Whatever form it takes, it's going to be undeniable. And I want you to understand something really important about the sun showing up in this context. This card isn't just about good things happening to you. It's about you claiming your right to shine. It's about you finally, maybe after a long period of doubt or struggle or keeping yourself small, stepping into your full power and not apologizing for it. And this woman who's been hating on you, she's been counting on you staying small. She's been counting on you doubting yourself. She's been counting on circumstances keeping you down. And the sun is saying, nope, not happening. Those days are over. What I'm also picking up with the sun is that this blessing or success or powerful thing coming your way is actually something you've earned. This isn't random luck or undeserved fortune. The sun often represents the culmination of effort, the harvest after the planting and tending and waiting. You've put in work, Taurus. Maybe work that nobody saw. Maybe work that felt thankless at the time. Maybe years of showing up even when it was hard, even when you wanted to quit. Even when people like this woman were actively hoping you'd fail. And now the universe is saying, okay, it's time for you to receive the rewards of all that effort. And it's going to be beautiful and bright and impossible to miss. This woman's envy makes so much more sense when you understand that the sun is highlighting not just that good things are coming to you, but that you're going to be seen. Her hatred has probably been fueled by a deep insecurity that she's tried to mask with contempt. And seeing you rise, seeing you succeed, seeing you happy, it's like looking directly at everything she wishes she had, but convinced herself didn't matter. The sun doesn't just illuminate you, it also casts shadows. And unfortunately for her, she's standing in one of those shadows, not because you put her there, but because she positioned herself in opposition to your light. There's something else about the sun I want to mention here. This card carries an energy of innocence and authenticity. It's the child dancing joyfully on the card, completely unself-conscious, totally present in the moment. And I think that's part of what triggers this woman so much. You're not trying to make her jealous. You're not performing your success for her benefit or anyone else's. You're just genuinely living your life, pursuing your goals, experiencing your joy. And that authenticity is something she can't fake or manufacture in her own life. She's so busy watching you and comparing herself to you that she's completely disconnected from any authentic experience of her own life. Meanwhile, you're just being yourself, and somehow that's enough to make you shine brighter than she ever could while wearing a mask of pretense. The sun is also telling me that this upcoming period is going to heal something in you, Taurus. Maybe you've been carrying wounds from the past, doubts about your worth, fears about whether you really deserve good things. The sun burns all that away. It's purifying, it's cleansing, it's showing you the truth of who you are, which is someone worthy of love and success and happiness and all the beautiful things life has to offer. And once you see that truth about yourself clearly, once you really internalize it, nothing anyone says or thinks about you can shake that knowing. That's the real gift of the sun. Not just external success, but internal certainty about your own value. Now the second card, and this is where things get really interesting. I pulled the Magician, and Taurus, I need you to really hear what this card is saying, because it's not just confirmation that good things are coming. It's telling you that you are the architect of what's about to happen. The Magician is the card of manifestation, of having all the tools you need, of skill and capability, and making things happen through your own power and will. What I love about the Magician in your reading is that it's showing me you're not passive in your own story. This isn't about sitting around waiting for the universe to drop blessings in your lap. You've been actively creating, actively building, actively working towards something. And here's what this woman who hates you doesn't understand and never will understand, because her focus is entirely on tearing down rather than building up. She doesn't get that real power comes from creation, from making something from nothing, from taking raw materials and turning them into something valuable. The Magician has all four suits laid out on the table before him, remember. The wands for passion and inspiration, the cups for emotional intelligence and intuition, the swords for mental clarity and communication, the pentacles for material resources and practical skills. This is telling me you've been developing yourself across all these areas. You haven't just been good at one thing and coasting on that. You've been becoming more well-rounded, more capable, more skilled, more powerful in ways that aren't always visible until suddenly they are. And I'm seeing something else with the Magician too. This card often appears when someone is about to step into a leadership role or a position of greater influence. The Magician doesn't just create for himself, he demonstrates to others that they can create too. He teaches, he shows, he proves what's possible. So whatever is coming for you, Taurus, it might not just elevate you personally. It might put you in a position where you're helping others, guiding others, showing others what's possible. And that is threatening to someone motivated by envy, because it means your influence grows, your impact expands, and the contrast between your energy and hers becomes even more obvious. The Magician is also about divine timing and alignment. The phrase, as above, so below, that's associated with this card. It means you're in sync with universal forces right now. What you're thinking, what you're feeling, what you're doing, it's all aligned with your highest path. And when you're in that state of alignment, things start happening that look like magic to outside observers, but are actually just the natural result of being in the right place at the right time with the right energy and the right skills and the right intention. This woman can hate all she wants. She can envy all she wants. She can plot and scheme and gossip and try to sabotage, but she cannot interfere with divine timing. She cannot block what the universe has already set in motion. She cannot undo the skills you've developed or the wisdom you've earned or the alignment you've achieved. The Magician is showing me that you hold the power here, not her. Her hatred is actually irrelevant to your outcome. It's noise, it's distraction. It might be unpleasant to know it exists, but it cannot change what's coming for you. What's particularly powerful about the Magician in this context is that it represents conscious creation. You're not stumbling into success by accident. You're not getting lucky. You're deliberately, intentionally, skillfully building the life you want. And that kind of power, that level of self-mastery, that's what really drives envious people crazy. Because they can't dismiss it as luck or privilege or being in the right place at the right time. They have to confront the fact that you've actually developed real abilities, real skills, real wisdom. You've done the work, you've put in the hours, you've learned the lessons, you've earned your mastery. The Magician is also showing me that you might be surprised by how much you're capable of in the coming period. Like you might discover talents you didn't know you had or find yourself succeeding in areas where you previously struggled. The Magician has access to all the elements, all the tools, all the resources. That means you're entering a phase where you can handle whatever comes your way. Challenges that would have overwhelmed you before are going to feel manageable now. Obstacles that would have stopped you in the past are going to be things you can navigate around or break through. You're leveling up in terms of your actual capabilities, not just your circumstances. I want to talk about the third card now because this one really drives home why this woman's attempts to harm you are so futile. I pulled the Wheel of Fortune, and if you know anything about tarot, you know this is one of the most powerful cards in the entire deck when it comes to major life changes and destiny, and things that are simply meant to be. The Wheel of Fortune is telling me that what's coming into your life isn't just a nice little upgrade or a pleasant surprise. We're talking about a significant turn of fortune, a change in circumstances that's big enough to alter the trajectory of your life. And here's the thing about the Wheel of Fortune that this woman doesn't understand and cannot accept. The wheel turns according to its own rhythm. It doesn't care about human interference. It doesn't care who wants to stop it or slow it down or redirect it. When it's your time to rise, you rise, period. I'm seeing with this card that you've probably been in a challenging cycle for a while. Maybe the past few years have been tough, Taurus. Maybe you've faced obstacles that seemed insurmountable. Maybe you've wondered if things would ever get better. Maybe you've watched other people get opportunities while you felt stuck. The Wheel of Fortune is saying that cycle is ending. The wheel is turning in your favor now. And when the Wheel of Fortune shows up with the Sun and the Magician like this, we're not talking about a small shift. We're talking about everything changing. What makes this particularly frustrating for this envious woman is that she probably thought she had you figured out. She probably thought your circumstances were fixed. She probably took some satisfaction in seeing you struggle or seeing you not have what she thought you wanted. And now the universe is about to completely flip the script. The wheel is turning, and she's going to have to watch as everything she hoped wouldn't happen for you happens anyway. As everything she tried to prevent comes to pass regardless of her efforts. The Wheel of Fortune also represents karma, and I think that's important to mention here. This isn't just about you receiving blessings. It's about universal balance being restored. If this woman has been sending negative energy your way, if she's been actively trying to harm you through gossip or sabotage or just pure ill will, that's creating karmic debt for her. And while the wheel turns in your favor, lifting you up, it's also going to turn for her. What she sent out is going to come back to her. That's not you being vindictive or wishing harm on her. That's just how energy works. The universe keeps accounts. I'm also seeing with the Wheel of Fortune that what's coming might involve an element of surprise or sudden change. Like you might have been working towards something slowly and steadily, and then boom, suddenly it all comes together faster than you expected. Or an opportunity appears out of nowhere that changes everything. Or someone recognizes your value and opens a door you didn't even know existed. The wheel doesn't turn gradually and predictably. Sometimes it spins fast, and suddenly you're in a completely different position than you were last week or last month. This is what makes this woman's envy so painful for her, if we're being honest. She can see the wheel beginning to turn for you. Maybe she can sense it on an intuitive level, even if the physical manifestation hasn't fully appeared yet. She knows something is shifting in your favor, and that knowledge is eating her alive because she's powerless to stop it. All she can do is watch and stew in her own negative emotions while you move forward. There's another layer to the Wheel of Fortune I need to address. This card often appears when you're stepping into a new cycle of your life, not just having one good thing happen. We're talking about entering a whole new chapter where the baseline of your life is elevated, where what used to be a good day becomes your normal day, where opportunities that used to feel rare start showing up regularly. The wheel turning isn't just about one lucky break. It's about the entire structure of your life shifting to a higher level, and that's permanent, Taurus. Once you've risen to that new level, once you've claimed that new position, you don't fall back down. You might face new challenges appropriate to your new level, but you don't return to where you were. The Wheel of Fortune is also connected to Jupiter, the planet of expansion and abundance and good fortune. This suggests that whatever is coming isn't going to be small or modest. Jupiter doesn't do subtle. When Jupiter blesses you, it blesses you. We're talking about abundance that exceeds what you even thought to ask for. Opportunities that are bigger than what you imagined was possible. Success that surpasses your own expectations. And this woman who's been hoping for your downfall is going to have a front row seat to watching the universe pour blessings on you that she can't explain away or diminish or pretend aren't happening. Okay, so the fourth card I need to talk to you about is the Page of Swords. And this card is giving me really specific information about this woman and her energy and why she's so fixated on you. The Page of Swords represents someone who's curious, watchful, investigative, but in the negative aspect, and that's definitely how this card is showing up here. It can represent someone who's spying, gossiping, looking for dirt, trying to find ammunition to use against someone else. This card is telling me that this woman has been watching you, Taurus. And I don't mean casually aware of you. I mean actively monitoring what you're doing, who you're with, what you're posting online, what people are saying about you. She's gathering information, probably talking about you behind your back, possibly spreading rumors, or trying to poison other people's perception of you. The Page of Swords can be cutty with words, sharp-tongued, using communication as a weapon. What's interesting about this card showing up here is that it's a page, not a queen or a king. Pages are young, inexperienced, not fully developed in their power. And that tells me something important about this woman. For all her hatred and envy, she's actually operating from a place of insecurity and immaturity. She hasn't developed the confidence or self-assurance to just live her own life and let you live yours. She's stuck in this juvenile pattern of comparison and competition and trying to knock you down because she doesn't know how to build herself up. The Page of Swords is also an AIR sign energy, which rules thoughts, communication, ideas, mental activity. This woman is probably spending a lot of mental energy on you. She's thinking about you more than you think about her, I can guarantee that. She's analyzing every move you make, comparing herself to you constantly, constructing narratives in her head about why she's better than you, or why you don't deserve good things, or why your success is somehow unfair. It's exhausting just to describe. Imagine actually living that way. But here's what I want you to understand about the Page of Swords in this context. This card is showing up to warn you that yes, this person exists, and yes, her energy is directed at you, but it's also showing you that her weapons are basically words and thoughts and surveillance. She doesn't have real power over you. She can talk about you. She can watch you. She can stew in her own jealousy, but she cannot actually stop what's coming for you. Her sword is basically a letter opener compared to the massive forces of the sun, the magician, and the Wheel of Fortune that are working in your favor. The Page of Swords is also telling me you might need to be a little bit cautious about what you share publicly for a while. Not because you should hide your light or dim your success when it comes, but just because this person is looking for information she can twist or use against you. Be mindful of who you trust with details about your life. Be aware that not everyone cheering you on in public has good intentions. Some people are just gathering intelligence. But don't let this make you paranoid or scared, Taurus. The point isn't to live in fear of this woman. The point is to be aware so you can be strategic. You're about to level up significantly. And people who are on your level, people who are genuinely happy for you, those relationships are going to become more important. People who are stuck in Page of Swords energy, watching and gossiping and hating from the sidelines, they're going to become irrelevant to your journey. What I'm also picking up about the Page of Swords is that this woman might actually be someone you wouldn't immediately suspect. Pages can be sneaky, operating under the radar. She might be someone who smiles to your face while talking behind your back, someone who asks questions that seem innocent but are actually fishing for information, someone who pretends to be supportive but is secretly hoping you fail. The Page of Swords energy is often two-faced, and that makes it particularly insidious because you might not even know who's working against you. But here's the thing, and this is important. The Page of Swords ultimately has no real power in your story. She's a minor character, barely more than an extra in the background. She's obsessed with you, but you're the main character here. Your story is about the sun, the magician, and the wheel of fortune. She's just a page with a small sword making noise in the distance. Her gossip might reach some ears, but it cannot change your destiny. Her surveillance might give her information, but it cannot stop your progress. Her hatred might be real, but it's ultimately impotent against the forces supporting you. The Page of Swords is also showing me that this woman is actually afraid of you on some level, even if she'd never admit it. That's what's behind all the watching and monitoring and trying to find weaknesses. She's afraid of your power, afraid of your potential, afraid that you're going to leave her so far behind that the comparison between you becomes undeniable. And she should be afraid, honestly, because that's exactly what's about to happen. Not because you're trying to compete with her or beat her or prove anything to her, but simply because you're on your path and she's stuck in hers, and those paths are diverging rapidly. Now let's talk about the fifth card, and Taurus. This one made me smile when I pulled it because it's so perfect for this situation. The Four of Wands. This is the celebration card. This is the card of reaching a milestone, of achieving something worth celebrating, of stability and harmony and joy. This card often shows up for weddings, housewarmings, graduations, promotions, any event where you've worked for something and now you're reaping the rewards and sharing that joy with people you love. The Four of Wands is confirming what the other cards have been saying. You're not just going to receive blessings privately. You're going to have reason to celebrate publicly. There's going to be an event or an achievement or a moment where your success is visible and acknowledged and celebrated by others. And I cannot emphasize enough how much this is going to drive this envious woman absolutely insane. Think about what the Four of Wands represents. It's literally people dancing under a canopy of flowers, celebrating abundance and happiness and achievement. It's community coming together to honor something good. It's public recognition. It's other people being genuinely happy for you. And for someone consumed by envy, having to witness you being celebrated while she's stuck in her own bitterness, that's going to be extremely difficult for her to process. But here's what I love about the Four of Wands in your reading. It's not just saying you're going to be successful. It's saying you're going to have a foundation of success. The Four Wands create a stable structure. This isn't flash-in-the-pan luck or temporary good fortune. What's coming for you has staying power. You're building something lasting. You're creating stability. You're establishing yourself in a position that's not easily shaken. The Four of Wands is also about home and finding where you belong, whether that's a physical place or a community of people or a career that feels right. I'm sensing that part of what's coming for you involves finding your tribe, connecting with people who truly value you and celebrate you and want to see you win. And that sense of belonging, that feeling of finally being in the right place with the right people, that's going to be such a contrast to the toxic energy this woman has been directing at you. This card is also telling me that you should absolutely celebrate your wins when they come, Taurus. Don't downplay them. Don't make yourself small to make others comfortable. Don't hide your success because you're worried about how certain people will react. The Four of Wands says, celebrate loudly. Share your joy. Let people who love you participate in your happiness. Let the world see that you're winning because you've earned it and you deserve it and you're not going to apologize for it. And if this woman can't handle seeing you celebrate, if your success makes her uncomfortable, that's a her problem, not a you problem. The Four of Wands is giving you permission to take up space, to be visible in your success, to let your light shine without dimming it for anyone's comfort. The people who truly matter will celebrate with you. The people who can't, well, they're revealing who they are, and you can let them exit your energy field accordingly. There's something really beautiful about the Four of Wands that I want to make sure you understand. This card represents not just achievement, but shared joy. It's about having people around you who are genuinely happy for your success, who want to lift you up, who celebrate your wins as if they were their own. And I think part of what's coming for you is a deeper appreciation for who your real people are. When you succeed, when you reach this milestone that the Four of Wands represents, you're going to see very clearly who shows up for you with genuine love and who shows up with fake smiles hiding envy. The Four of Wands also has an energy of freedom about it. It's often depicted with people dancing, expressing joy without restraint. And I think that's significant here. For too long, you might have been holding yourself back, maybe unconsciously, maybe to avoid triggering other people's jealousy, maybe because you weren't sure if you deserved to take up space. The Four of Wands is saying that era is over. You're free now to be fully yourself, to express your joy, to celebrate your wins, to live loudly and proudly without shrinking yourself for anyone's comfort. And that freedom is going to feel incredible. The number 4 itself is about stability and foundation and structure. Combined with wands, which represent passion and creativity and willpower, this card is telling me you're building something real. This isn't just a moment of success, it's the establishment of a new baseline for your life. You're creating foundations that will support you for years to come. You're putting structures in place that will allow even greater success to build upon what you're achieving now. This woman can watch you celebrate this win, but what she won't fully understand is that this celebration is just the beginning of your new chapter, not the conclusion of your story. The 6th and final card I pulled for you is the Nine of Swords. But here's what's important. This card isn't showing up in your energy, Taurus. This is her energy. This is what's happening for this woman who hates you so much. The Nine of Swords is the nightmare card, the anxiety card, the card of sleepless nights and mental torment and being trapped in your own fearful thoughts. And that's exactly where she is right now. Can you imagine what it's like to be so consumed by envy and hatred that you literally cannot sleep peacefully? To be so focused on someone else's life that you're torturing yourself with thoughts about their success? The Nine of Swords shows someone sitting up in bed in the middle of the night, head in hands, just consumed by worry and fear and negative thoughts. And that's her reality right now. She's watching the signs that your fortune is turning. She's sensing the shift that's coming. And she's absolutely spiraling because she knows there's nothing she can do to stop it. What the Nine of Swords is showing me is that while you're moving into Sun energy, Magician energy, Wheel of Fortune energy, Four of Wands celebration energy, she's trapped in darkness of her own making. Her hatred isn't hurting you, it's destroying her. Every thought she spends on you, every moment she wastes being envious, every bit of energy she puts into wishing bad things for you, it's all coming back to harm her own peace of mind, her own mental health, her own ability to be happy. And here's something really important I want you to understand, Taurus. The Nine of Swords often represents irrational fears. These are the 3 in the morning thoughts that feel overwhelming in the darkness but don't actually reflect reality. This woman has built up entire scenarios in her head about you, about your life, about what you have or what you're going to get. And most of it is probably distorted by her own insecurity and jealousy. She's fighting demons that only exist in her own mind. The Nine of Swords is also sometimes called the Karma card because it represents the mental and emotional consequences of negative actions and thoughts. If she's been actively trying to harm you, if she's been spreading gossip, if she's been sending negative energy your way, all of that is creating a psychological burden she has to carry. Guilt, even if unacknowledged, has weight. Jealousy is heavy. Hatred takes energy to maintain, and she's collapsing under the weight of her own negativity while you're rising. What this card is ultimately telling you is that you don't need to do anything about this woman. You don't need to confront her. You don't need to defend yourself. You don't need to try to change her mind about you or prove your worth to her. The universe is already handling it. Her own thoughts are punishing her more effectively than you ever could. While she's up at night consumed by thoughts of you, you should be sleeping peacefully, knowing that your blessings are coming regardless of her feelings about it. The Nine of Swords as the final card is basically the universe saying, this is what happens to people who oppose your rise. Not because you're cruel or vindictive, but because that's just the natural consequence of choosing envy over growth, hatred over healing, comparison over self-improvement. She could be using all this energy to build her own life, to develop her own skills, to create her own success. Instead, she's wasting it all on being consumed by resentment toward you, and that's tragic for her, honestly. What I find particularly striking about the Nine of Swords in this position is that it shows the futility of her hatred. All those sleepless nights, all that mental torment, all that energy spent on negative thoughts about you, and none of it changes your trajectory, not one bit. You're still rising. The blessings are still coming. The wheel is still turning in your favor. Her suffering is entirely self-inflicted and completely pointless. She's chosen to torture herself over something she has zero control over, which is your destiny and your path and your success. The Nine of Swords also suggests that on some level, maybe buried deep, she knows her hatred is wrong. She knows the energy she's sending your way is toxic. She knows she should let it go and focus on her own life. And that knowledge, that awareness that she's acting from her worst self, that adds another layer to her mental torment. It's not just fear and worry and jealousy, it's also shame and guilt that she can't quite admit to herself. The Nine of Swords often appears when someone is being haunted by their own conscience, when they can't escape the knowledge of their own negative actions, even if they're not ready to change them. There's a certain justice in the Nine of Swords appearing as her card, while the Four of Wands appears as yours. While you're celebrating surrounded by people who love you, she's alone in the dark with her thoughts. While you're building foundations and creating stability, she's trapped in cycles of anxiety and fear. While you're stepping into your power and claiming your blessings, she's paralyzed by her own negativity. The contrast couldn't be clearer. Your paths are diverging, and you're heading toward light while she's sinking deeper into darkness of her own creation. So let me bring this all together for you, Taurus. The cards are telling a really clear story here. You have this woman in your orbit who genuinely hates you, who's eaten up with envy, who's been watching you and talking about you and wishing failure on you. And the universe is saying, yeah, we see that, we know about her, and here's the thing, she cannot stop what's coming for you. The sun says your time to shine is here or very near. The magician says you have everything you need to create the success you desire. The wheel of fortune says destiny is turning in your favor and nothing can prevent that. The Page of Swords confirms this woman's negative attention, but also shows she's basically powerless, just watching from the sidelines with her little sword made of words. The Four of Wands says you're going to have concrete reasons to celebrate publicly and build lasting stability and success. And the Nine of Swords says while all this good stuff is happening for you, she's going to be trapped in her own mental hell, tortured by the very envy she's chosen to feed. You cannot control other people's feelings about you, Taurus. You cannot make someone who's determined to hate you suddenly like you. You cannot reason with jealousy or logic away someone's envy, but you also don't need to, because their negative energy cannot block your blessings. Their hatred cannot cancel your destiny. Their gossip cannot undo your growth. Their watching cannot prevent your success. What you can control is how you respond to all of this. And my advice, based on what the cards are showing, is to focus on your path. Let her waste her energy on negativity while you invest yours in growth. Let her spend her time watching you while you spend yours building. Let her lose sleep over your success while you rest peacefully, knowing you're exactly where you're meant to be. The best response to someone's envy isn't confrontation or revenge or even acknowledgement. It's simply continuing to rise, continuing to shine, continuing to become the fullest version of yourself, regardless of who's uncomfortable with that. And when those blessings come, when the success manifests, when you have your Four of Wands moment of celebration, I want you to enjoy it fully. Don't let her existence in the background diminish your joy even slightly. Don't make yourself small. Don't hide your light. Don't downplay your achievements. You've earned this. The universe has ordained this, and you deserve to celebrate every single win without apology. The powerful thing that's coming to you that she cannot stop, Taurus, it's not just one thing. It's the sun's illumination of your path. It's the magician's mastery and manifestation ability. It's the wheel of fortune's destined turn in your favor. It's the Four of Wands' lasting success and community celebration. It's all of it combined, creating a momentum that's absolutely unstoppable. And all she can do is watch from her Nine of Swords nightmare while you live your blessed life. So my final message to you is this: walk forward with confidence. Claim what's yours. Accept the blessings that are coming. Celebrate your wins. Surround yourself with people who genuinely love and support you. And let this woman's hatred be her own burden to carry, because it has absolutely nothing to do with you and everything to do with her own internal emptiness. You're protected, you're guided, you're blessed, and nothing and no one can change that. I hope this reading brought you some clarity about what's happening energetically around you right now. If you felt like this message was meant for you, trust that feeling. The universe is confirming what you already sensed. You're about to level up in a major way, and anyone who has a problem with that is simply revealing themselves, so you know who deserves space in your life and who doesn't.